Am I audible to you all? Okay. Hello, everyone. Very good afternoon to all of you. Now it's time to introduce our wonderful college. So let's take a glance of our respected college. DLSPG College is run by Parth Shikshan Samiti, an institution dedicated to serve the nation through education, research, and training. The college was established with a dream of making higher quality education available to the youth of Chhattisgarh and primarily to the deprived sections. It is a private self-financing college which is working for holistic development of rural and backward youth for 2 decades. This college was established in 1997 in the memory of late Sri Dashrath Lal Sharma ji with over 7 acres of clean, green, and new age college campus with state of the art infrastructure and modern facilities for the students, we provide a healthy and pleasant academic environment for the leaders of tomorrow. Thank you so much. A very good afternoon to all of you and warm namaste from India. On the occasion of World Literacy Day, we have organized this event, Literacy Day, because literacy is a basic human right. September 8 was declared as International Literacy Day by UNESCO in 1965. The aim of this day is to highlight the importance of literacy to individuals, communities, as well as society. So, on the behalf of organizing committee, I, Dr. Samiksha Sharma, co-coordinator of Research and Development Cell of DLSPG College, heartily welcomes you all in this international e-conference on Communicate to Facilitate English from Local to Global, organized by Department of English and Internal Quality Assurance Cell of DLSPG College, Bilaspur, Chhattisgarh, India. For this event, we have Professor G.D. Sharma Sir, Honorable Vice Chancellor Atal Bihari Vajpayee University, Bilaspur, Chhattisgarh, as our respected chief guest. Our special guest is respected Dr. G.A. Ghanshyam Sir, OSD Directorate of Higher Education, Raipur, Chhattisgarh, India. Our chief patron of this program is Shri Basant Sharma ji, chairman of our college. Patron Dr. Ranjana Chaturvedi Madam, Principal DLSPG College, and Director Mrs. Nisha Sharma Madam. Our keynote speaker for this event is Dr. Noor Arifa Drajati, lecturer, teacher, training and education faculty, University Sibelius, Merit, Indonesia. Today we have two renowned resource persons, Dr. Mukta Manoj Jacob Madam, Head English and Business Communication, Narsi Monji College of Commerce and Economics, Mumbai, Maharashtra. And our another resource person is respected Dr. Rakesh Damir Sir, Associate Professor, NC Bodhiwala and Principal MC Desai Commerce College, Ahmedabad, Gujarat. So I would like to welcome you all eminent speakers and delegates from India and all over world. We are indeed honored to have you for this event. Once again, I welcome you all. It's our holy tradition and culture to worship Goddess of Wisdom, Ma Saraswati, before going to initiate any kind of such academic events. So let's dedicate a prayer for Ma Saraswati. For this, I would like to invite Ms. Sanskriti Shastri Madam for Ma Saraswati Vandana and Rajyagit. Rajyagit is a state song of our beloved Chhattisgarh, which depicts the major water resources of our state. They are the lifelines of our state. So over to you, Sanskriti Madam.
श्वेत पद्मासना या ब्रह्माच्युत शङ्करः प्रभृतिभिः उजाड़ पापैरी के धार महानदी है अपार इंद्रावती हा पखारे तोरे पैया जय हो छत्तीसगढ़ भुइया महू पावे परो तोरे मैया सो है बिंदिया सही घाट डोंगरी पहाड़ चंदा सूरज बने है तोर नैना सुनहा धाने के अंग डुगरा हरियर है रंग तोर बोली हवे सुघर मैना अजरा तोरे डोलवे पुरवैया जय हो छत्तीसगढ़ भुइया रईगढ़ हावे सुघर तोरे मोर मुकुट सरगु जाओ बेला से पुर है बहिहा रईपुर कनिहा सही घात सुघर भवे दुर्ग बस्तर सोहे जनिया नांदे गाँव नवागर धनिया महू पावे परो तोरे भुइया अरबा पैरी के धार महानदी है अपार इंद्रावती हा पखारे तो
Thank you so much, Sanskriti ma'am, for wonderful song. Now, I would like to request our patron, respected Dr. Ranjana Chaturvedi madam, principal of our college, for her inaugural address. Over to you, madam.
I am audible?
Yes, ma'am, you are audible.
Atmi Namaskar. Very good afternoon. A e-conference from English Department, DLS PG College, Bilaspur. Today's topic is to communicate, to facilitate English from from local to global. Today's program's chief guest is Honorable Vice Chancellor Atal Bihari Vajpayee University, Dr. Professor G.D. Sharma. Our special guest, Dr. G.A. Ghanshyam, OSD Director of Higher Education, Chhattisgarh, Raipur. Our program's chief patron, Basant Sharma, Chairman, DLS PG College, Bilaspur, and Mrs. Nisha Sharma, Director, DLS PG College, Bilaspur. Keynote person is Dr. Noor Arifan, lecturer, teachers training and education faculty, University Sebelus Merit, Indonesia. Another resource person, our resource person are Dr. Rakesh Damir, Associate Professor, Ahmedabad, Gujarat. And second resource person is Dr. Mukta Manoj Jacob, from Ahmedabad, Gujarat. The convener of this program is Vandana Tiwari, Mrs. Vandana Tiwari, head of the department in English, DLS PG College, Bilaspur, and co-convener is Miss Harshita Sharma, Miss Harshita Sharma, assistant professor, DLS College, Bilaspur. We all know that the English is our international language. So communication is a power. So we can say communication is a powerful interactive skill which, with the help of language, create an understanding between the culture and society. When it comes to communication, language plays an important. We use various language in local context. Mother tongue may be the medium of communication in schools, family, society, country, but we need a global language when it comes to global communication. To begin to understand how to adopt better global communication, we must first understand the process of communication. Communication is a very complex activity. Most of us struggle with it. There is in fact, an actual process involved in communicating effectively. One content type does not fit all. Along with demographic definition and assigned attribute, there are requirements to understand sociographic and behavioral traits culturally. There are different in approach. These different approaches need a common language for communication. The idea that people should have a common language has long been an ideal. Moreover, the heated discussion that have been taking place with regards to globalization have led to some speculation on existence of a global culture which may be accompanied by a global language. By comparing the basic English movement in the first half of the 20th century with the rise of global English over the last 2 decades, this paper argues that a global language alone will not lead a global culture. The argument is supported by 2 main rationales. First, English function as a value stripped instrument, and second one is a multilingual reality has emerged in recent years. Instead of leading to a global culture, English as a global language and tool expresses and constitutes a part of various local culture which appropriate the use of English according to their own purpose. The majority of people will continue to think in a language other than English, while still being continue to think a language other than English while still being aware of its hegemonic as well as leadership power, while a rootless neutral language could never become a common language. A language with numerous roots around the world may be able to achieve the status of global lingua franca, or we can say lok bhasha, sampark bhasha. However, these cultural roots force the language to constantly change, instilling new cultural elements. Thus, English as a global lingual implies fluid, dynamic, and often fragmented language use nested in a multilingual landscape, very different from what is usually conceived of a common world language. People often talk about English as a global language or lingua franca. With more than 350 million people around the world speaking English as a first language and more than 430 million speaking it as a second language. There are English speakers in most countries around the world. Why is English so popular though? And why has it become a global language? People often call English the international language of business, and it's increasingly true as international trade expands every year, bringing new countries into contact. Many of the best MBA programs are taught in English, so speaking it well can put you in a position to get the best training and credentials. Most multinational companies require a certain degree of English proficiency from potential employees. So in order to get a position with a top company, more and more people are learning English. If your ambition lie in science or medicine, you can't neglect English either. Much of the technical terminology is based on English words, and if you want to learn about the latest development and discoveries from around the world, you will read about them in journals and research reports published in English, no matter whether the scientists who wrote them are from China or Norway. And of course, with good conversational English, you will be able to network and make important contacts at conferences and seminars. Thus, we in the webinar will try to explore the necessity of English as communicate to facilitate English from local to global. Again, my heartiest welcome to all viewers. Thank you so much. Over to Samiksha.
Thank you so much, madam, for your such a beautiful and wonderful words. Thank you so much. You are always our source of inspiration. Thank you. Now, I would like to request our chief patron, Shri Basant Sharma Sarji, for his kind words. Over to you, Sharma sir.
Hello. I am audible.
Yes, sir, you are fairly enough audible.
थैंक यू समीक्षा जी. डीएलएस पीजी कॉलेज के इंग्लिश डिपार्टमेंट के द्वारा आयोजित आज के इंटरनेशनल ई कॉन्फ्रेंस जो कि कम्युनिकेट टू फैसिलिटेट इंग्लिश फ्रॉम लोकल टू ग्लोबल जैसे सामयिक विषय पर हिंदुस्तान जैसे देश के लिए यह विषय बहुत महत्वपूर्ण है और इस महत्वपूर्ण विषय पर आयोजित आज के इस वेबिनार के चीफ गेस्ट अटल बिहारी वाजपेयी विश्वविद्यालय बिलासपुर के माननीय कुलपति प्रोफेसर जी.डी. शर्मा साहब, हमारे स्पेशल गेस्ट डॉक्टर जी.ए. घनश्याम, ओएसडी डायरेक्टर ऑफ हायर एजुकेशन छत्तीसगढ़ रायपुर, हमारे पेट्रॉन और डीएलएस कॉलेज की प्राचार्य महोदया डॉक्टर रंजना चतुर्वेदी जी, पेट्रॉन मिसेज निशा शर्मा जी, डायरेक्टर डीएलएस पीजी कॉलेज, हमारे आज के इस वेबिनार के विद्वान वक्तागण, आज के की नोट स्पीकर डॉक्टर नूर अरीफा जी इंडोनेशिया से, रिसोर्स पर्सन डॉक्टर मुक्ता मनोज जैकब जी मुंबई से, रिसोर्स पर्सन डॉक्टर राकेश दामिर जी, एसोसिएट प्रोफेसर अहमदाबाद से। आज के इस वेबिनार के कन्वीनर डीएलएस पीजी कॉलेज के इंग्लिश डिपार्टमेंट के हेड मिसेज वंदना तिवारी जी, को कन्वीनर मिस हर्षिता शर्मा जी, असिस्टेंट प्रोफेसर डीएलएस पीजी कॉलेज डिपार्टमेंट ऑफ इंग्लिश, डीएलएस पीजी कॉलेज के टेक्निकल स्टाफ, ऑफिस स्टाफ, प्रोफेसर्स सुमित जी, राकेश दीक्षित जी, उमेश जाधव जी, परिहार सर जी, प्रताप पांडे जी, सुनीता द्विवेदी जी, सतीश गोयल जी, नीतीश जी, ऋषि तिवारी जी, संजय उपाध्याय जी, शास्त्री सर, राकेश शर्मा जी, शुभम पांडे जी और सभी प्रतिभागी पार्टिसिपेंट्स, मैं आप सभी का बहुत हृदय से स्वागत करता हूं, अभिनंदन करता हूं। मुझे लगता है कि आज का ये विषय मैं अपनी बात से करूं तो मुझे संकोच नहीं है। मैं स्वयं अंग्रेजी बहुत अच्छे से नहीं जानता हूं, लेकिन अंग्रेजी जानना और अंग्रेजी को लोकल से ग्लोबल तक की उसकी महत्ता को समझना बहुत जरूरी है। टेक्नोलॉजी की भाषा भी अंग्रेजी है। आज हर हाथ में मोबाइल है, कंप्यूटर है और उसकी भाषा अंग्रेजी है। भारत जैसे विशाल देश के विविध भाषाओं वाले देश में एक ऐसी भाषा का होना आवश्यक है जो हम आपस में भी और अंतर्राष्ट्रीय स्तर पर भी अपनी बातों को, अपने विषयों को, सूचनाओं को हम संप्रेषित कर सकें। भाषा के माध्यम से ही हमेशा हमने अपने भावों को अभिव्यक्त किया है और दूसरों के मनोभावों को समझा है। भाषा युगों से हमारे विचारों और हमारी भावनाओं की अभिव्यक्ति का माध्यम रही है। न केवल इतना, बल्कि भाषा के आधार से ही सभ्यताएं और संस्कृतियां भी पनपती और पोषित होती रही हैं। अगर किसी संस्कृति को समाप्त करना है तो वहां की भाषा को समाप्त कर दीजिए। देखिए कि वो संस्कृति अपने आप ही समाप्त हो जाएगी। आज हम भाषा के विभिन्न पक्षों को देखते हैं। भाषा जो दमन करती है, भाषा जो पक्षपात करती है, वही दूसरी ओर वही भाषा प्रेरित भी करती है, समृद्ध भी करती है और पोषित भी करती है। आज का हमारे इस ई कॉन्फ्रेंस का विषय भी हमने यही रखा है, कम्युनिकेट टू फैसिलिटेट इंग्लिश फ्रॉम लोकल टू ग्लोबल। मुझे लगता है लोकल टू ग्लोबल होने के बजाय ग्लोबल टू लोकल होना चाहिए था। ये एक वैश्विक भाषा है जिसे स्थानीय तौर पर अपनाए जाने की आवश्यकता है। ये टॉप टू बॉटम अप्रोच है, बॉटम टू टॉप नहीं। अंग्रेजी भाषा के परिप्रेक्ष्य में आयोजित ये ई कॉन्फ्रेंस अन्य भाषाओं के लिए भी उतना ही सत्य है। संप्रेषण और सूचना ही आज के समय में शक्ति है। अगर आपके पास सूचनाएं हैं और आप उनका सही संप्रेषण कर पाते हैं तो शायद आज आप इस समय के चंद शक्तिशाली लोगों में से एक हो सकते हैं। इन्हीं बातों के मद्देनजर आज हम इस विषय पर चर्चा करेंगे और अंग्रेजी को स्थानीय से लेकर वैश्विक परिप्रेक्ष्य में संप्रेषण एवं सशक्तिकरण के माध्यम के रूप में समझने का प्रयास करेंगे। वैसे देखा जाए तो अंग्रेजी आज वैश्विक पटल पर एक स्थानीय रूप से भी स्वीकारी है और प्रयोग की जाने लगी है। इसी तारतम्य में छत्तीसगढ़ सरकार द्वारा आज कई स्कूलों का अंग्रेजी माध्यम की शालाओं में उन्नयन भी अंग्रेजी की अनिवार्यता और आवश्यकता को रेखांकित करता है। अब जब संपूर्ण विश्व एक बाजार बन चुका है और अपने अस्तित्व को बनाए रखने के लिए इस बाजार की नब्ज को पकड़ना आवश्यक हो गया है। ऐसे में अंग्रेजी सशक्तिकरण के एक संसाधन के रूप में उभरी है। आज सभी देश अंग्रेजी को व्यापार विस्तार के एक नवीन संसाधन के रूप में देखते हैं और अंग्रेजी सीखने सिखाने पर पर्याप्त जोर देते हैं। ऐसे में हमें भी अंग्रेजी को एक व्यावसायिक संसाधन के रूप में देखे जाने और उसे विकसित करने पर जोर देने की आवश्यकता है, जिसकी नींव छत्तीसगढ़ सरकार ने अंग्रेजी माध्यमों के स्कूलों की स्थापना करके रख दी है। अब हमें और आपको मिलकर इस संसाधन को और विकसित और जाने की आवश्यकता है। और आज का हमारा ये कॉन्फ्रेंस इसी विषय को और गहनता से समझने और इसके विभिन्न पक्षों पर विचार विमर्श करने के उद्देश्य से ही आयोजित है। मैं शुभकामनाएं देता हूं कि आज की इस विषय पर हमारे विद्वान वक्तागण जो बात रखेंगे उससे हमारे प्रतिभागी और हम सभी लाभान्वित होंगे। पुनः आप सभी को शुभकामनाएं देता हूं, आप सभी का अभिनंदन करता हूं, स्वागत करता हूं। धन्यवाद। जय हिंद, जय छत्तीसगढ़। ओवर टू समीक्षा मैम।
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much for your wonderful words for today's topic. We are very lucky to have you as our guide. You always gives us wing for fulfilling our dreams. Once again, thank you so much. Now it's time to introduce our special guest. Dear participants, we rarely get this kind of wonderful opportunity to listen few wonderful words from a great personality like our special guest, respected Dr. G.A. Ghanshyam sir, OSD Directorate of Higher Education, Raipur, Chhattisgarh, India. Sir is presently in charge principal at Dao Uttam Saur Government College, Durg, Chhattisgarh. He did his PhD in Indian writing in English language from GGU, Bilaspur. He has more than 19 years of research experience. He has published more than 95 papers in national as well as international journals. He held many academic cum administrative positions like editor, Contemporary Literacy Review of India. He is also life member of many associations like INTAC, FOST, Youth Hostel Association, as well as Indian Association of English Studies. So let's welcome our respected special guest. Over to you, sir.
Thank you very much. Am I audible?
Yes, sir, you are audible.
Yeah. Good afternoon to all of you, respected Vice Chancellor of Atal Bihari Vajpayee University, Bilaspur, respected keynote speaker, my dear friend Noor Arifa from Indonesia, my friend Dr. Mukta Manoj, my friend Dr. Rakesh Damir, Mr. Basant Sharma, the chairman of Parth Shikshan Samiti, the convener of this e-conference, all the organizers, the staff members of DLS PG College, and my dear friends. Indeed, it's a great opportunity to be associated with the DLS PG College, which is organizing e-conference on communicate to facilitate English from local to global. Indeed, it's a pleasure to speak on English because English, which has become global nowadays, it's not only local, it's not only global, but it has become global. We are not speaking English, but we are speaking Englishes. What Mr. Basant Sharma was saying, top-down approach and bottom-up approach, I always feel languages, they start from the local and they acquire the command of global. Because every language, it starts with a dialect and we speak dialect. Like in Chhattisgarh, we speak Chhattisgarhi. So in the same way, there are so many dialects which are available in the world, and all those dialects have been modified, redefined, and have been converted into a language. So English is also a language. It has been brought out from the dialect which was spoken by the people in England. And even in England, there were so many Englishes, like English of the West, English of the East, English of the North, English of the South, English of the Central. And then all those Englishes were combined together and brought in the form of a language. In the same way, it has traveled from local to the global. And English has acquired so many words from so many languages. So English is not only a language which is of its own, but English is a mixed language which is having so many other languages into it. Even Hindi has so many words in English. So that's why the title is very much apt to say English from local to global. Now again, communicate. What is communicate? I always believe communicate means come union on a particular occasion. Like we call it communication. Come on a particular occasion and then we unite. Languages are never treated as barriers, but languages are always treated as carriers for our career. If you convert the barrier of a language into a carrier and convert it for your career, then you are the real person in this world. So when we communicate, it's the face which communicates a lot, because the verbal and non-verbal communication both are very important. And if you see the research, it says the verbal communication is less and non-verbal communication, in which your posture and gesture is very important, it attracts more people towards you. So the facial expression, the body language, it matters a lot than the words that we speak. So that's why someone has said, if speech is silver, silence is golden. So why can't we show the entire thing on our face, the facial expression? So languages, they start from there. And as far as English is concerned, so many people have said that English has become the lingua franca and English is this and that, whatnot. In India, we study English as a second language. We study our mother tongue as a first language. And in some of the states, we have 3-language formula, wherein we use 3 languages at a time. As far as speaking about English is concerned, English has become a taboo in so many areas where Hindi is spoken at large. And among the students and the faculty members, there is still a fear of English. Whenever I teach the students, I ask them, do you have a fear of English? They say, we do have the fear of English. I said, do you want to eliminate the fear of English? They say, yes, sir, we want to. I said, do one thing, write fear. They write F-E-A-R. Then I asked them, just delete or wipe out F. What remains? They say ear. That's what is required. To learn a language, what is required is ear, nothing else. Not even eyes are required. If you keep on listening to a language, then you will be able to speak the same language. So that's why a person who is deaf is going to be dumb also. So the person who cannot listen cannot speak any of the languages of the world. So English is not a big deal. Even our villagers, they use English. They use so many words of English just by listening to the people. Though they understand the, what you call it as, the meaning of the word very well, they use it appropriately. So listening is very important as far as communication is concerned. So we have to build a commune, a kind of a society where we can interact with the people, where we can ask the people to speak. And for that, what is required is we shouldn't have fear. What Subhash Chandra Bose has said during our freedom struggle, give me blood, I'll give you freedom. On this occasion, I'll ask all the students, all the participants, give me your ears, I'll give you English. So what is required is ear to learn any language. And that's why if we keep on facilitating this kind of an atmosphere where learning happens, even our new educational policy of 2020, it promotes learning atmosphere. So learning has to be there. A learning has to be done in a very safe atmosphere wherein only learning can go. And when you write learn, make it understandable to all the students that learn, if you take out L, what remains is earn. If you want to earn, then you have to learn. So if you want to earn with the help of the language, then you have to learn the language. And every language has its own beauty in it. So we have to understand English not as a culture, but we have to understand English as a language which has become completely Indian. English is not the language of the Britishers or the people, those who speak in US or in Australia or in New Zealand. No, even our Tiharu, the person who hails from a very remote village, if he is using English, then English has become the language of Tiharu also. Because English is the language of the people, those who speak it. So we need to facilitate a kind of an environment which is safe, protective, which encourages students and the faculty members to speak English without having any kind of taboo and fear. If we could create that kind of an atmosphere, everywhere we can use English, and that will not become the barrier, but that will become the carrier for our career. In this 21st century, what is required is fluency in everything. Digital fluency is required. We are not going to become digital citizens, but we are going to become digital literate citizens. So we have to become digitally fluent citizens. From digital literacy, we need to develop digital fluency. And for that, what is required is English. So let us all accomplish ourselves, let us all facilitate, and let us all create a kind of an atmosphere to learn English. On this occasion, I really feel honored to have my very dear friend from Indonesia, Nur Arifa, who is going to give the keynote address, and my very dear friends, Dr. Mukta Manoj and Dr. Rakesh Damir. I really thank them for accepting my invitation. They have really honored me, and I'm really honored to be a part of this mega event. I thank DLS PG College for inviting me as one of the speakers. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir. Your concept about digital fluency was too good. And once again, thank you so much for guiding us and putting your reviews for today's event. Thank you so much. Now, I would like to invite Mrs. Vandana Tiwari Madam, convener of this event, for putting her views on today's topic. So let's welcome Vandana Madam for her theme address.
विद्या है अमृत रस की धारा, इस पर न्यौछावर है जग सारा। चरणों में शीश नवा कर वंदन, आज के इस ई कॉन्फ्रेंस में आप सभी का सादर अभिनंदन, सादर अभिनंदन। मातृभाषा एवं राष्ट्रभाषा में आप सभी का हार्दिक अभिनंदन। I, Vandana Tiwari, convener of this event, welcomes you all. First of all, I would like to welcome our respected chief guest, Professor G.D. Sharma sir, Honorable Vice Chancellor, Atal Bihari Vajpayee University, special guest, Dr. G.A. Ghanshyam sir, OSD, Directorate of Higher Education, Chief Patron, Mr. Basant Sharma sir, Chairman, DLS PG College, Bilaspur, Patron, Dr. Ranjana Chaturvedi Madam, Principal, DLS PG College, Bilaspur, Patron, Mrs. Nisha Sharma Madam, Director, DLS PG College, Bilaspur, all respective speakers, teachers, and all participants. Welcome to e-conference organized by Department of English, DLS PG College, Bilaspur, Chhattisgarh, India. During this pandemic, we are witnessing a toxic view of uncertainty and floating in the rarefied air. People are looking for a source of solace, and here comes the role of language and literature as a way of sharing our prevalent humanist concern. International e-conference on Communicate to Facilitate English from Local to Global. Many thanks to all the distinguished speakers for giving their consent to contribute their intellectual resources for this event. The Department of English is part of the School of Social Sciences and Languages. The school offers languages course at basic and intermediate levels for UG and PG programs in a diverse set of disciplines that come under science, technology, commerce, and arts to enable all learners to avail opportunities across the globe. The departments aim to build communicative competence and confidence in students of arts, science, and other streams. In addition to teaching communicative English, the faculty members carry out research in different areas in literature. Language is the basic need to express thoughts, feelings, and views of all human beings. Having power of expression is making each and every human different if we feel comfortable with so many languages. It means we can communicate many societies as well as people. English is one of the most comfortable language to communicate. Nowadays, it is also a very common language. Worldwide, English is the most useful business language as well as in global language. We have all the sources to learn in English language. Let's come to the theme, communicate to facilitate English from local to global. This theme is including itself local to global and new. And now I am going to elaborate. Local to global stands for learning and language from house to workplace. English is an international language which is giving lots of importance for communicating with one to another nation. All the sources for study like research, presentations, practicals, and data is easily available in English language. English is a global language by asking what it means for a language to be global and what the advantages and disadvantages as having a global language are. Savit Tristel suggested that a language becomes a global language for one reason, political power of its people. Why a global language? If English is your mother tongue, you may have mixed feeling about the way English is spreading around the world. You can be proud of success of your language, but also concerned because people who speak English around the world change it. They don't speak the same English you do. But even if English is not your mother tongue, you may have mixed feelings about it. If you want to learn it, you can be proud of your achievements when you make progress. What is global language? A language achieves a genuinely global status when it develops a special role that is recognized in every country. A language must be taken up by other countries around the world in two ways. It can be made the official language of the country, and language can be made a priority in countries' foreign language teaching. I would like to thank everyone for joining the e-conference, giving their precious time. Thank you. Over to you, Samiksha madam.
Thank you so much, madam, for your beautiful theme address. Now, moving ahead, we have come to the end of inaugural session and going to initiate technical session of this event. So, I find immense pleasure in introducing our keynote speaker, Dr. Noor Arifa Dajti Madam. She is a lecturer in English Department of Teacher Training and Education Faculty of University Sibelius Merit Indonesia. She is active in the teacher professional development divisions in the Association for the Teaching of English as a Foreign Language in Indonesia, TEFLIN. So let's welcome our respected keynote speaker. Over to you, madam.
Okay, thank you very much, Dr. Vandana. Good afternoon. And thank you for the invitation to becoming the speaker in this really honorable occasions. Professor Sharma and then Dr. Gansham, thank you very much. And also Doctor and Professor that comes to this event. Good afternoon. Um, Maybe I have to say selamat sore in the afternoon. Namaskar, is it right? Yeah. Okay, namaskar. Is it right? Yeah. I'm trying to learn new language today. That's Hindi Hindi words. Okay, today I would like to share. This is the experience in teaching how to communicate with the global citizens. And I would like to share this, my PowerPoint. Okay. Okay, so my topic today is facilitating students in learning intercultural competence with IDLE activities. IDLE activities is an informal digital learning environment. And we can see that in this pandemic, in this COVID pandemic, the students have such kind of limited classrooms, limited limited situations with in communicating with other people around the world. But related to the development of the technology, we can see that by using the technology, we still have communications with other people around the world. Okay, so today this is my starting point that students' output is having intercultural communicative competence. Well, what is the intercultural communicative competence? This is a competence that that the students should have the skills, culture, attitudes, and having good communications with people all around the world. And how we as the teachers facilitate our students to have this kind of skills to our students and future generations. The examples of having the skills is listening, analyzing, critical thinking, and having observing the situations and then what happens today or around the world. And then the other competence is having attitude, having openness, curiosity, discovery, and respect to the other people all around the world. The other things is the culture. We have to have identity, beliefs, and values. And the last one is communications. We have a such kind of literacy, nonverbal, language, and dialogue with other people. So we have this kind of competence to communicate with other people. This is in line with the previous speakers that I really agree that we have to be proud of our English. In Indonesia, this is maybe similar with India. We have 1,000 cultures, and still trying to have promote our English. So in Indonesia, there are many kinds of cultural, such kind of Java, Sumatra, Papua, and etc. And each of the culture have their own uniqueness. Yep. Okay, so this is very important to have an intercultural competence, and we as a college or school have this kind of missions that this kind of competence is giving the students a skill to think and act appropriately and to communicate and work with people from different cultural backgrounds at home or abroad, to interact with people from different cultures and countries who have been shaped by different values, beliefs, and experience. Um, for example, when we are this is example Indonesia, when we have friends from India, we say that, oh, they are from India. So we there's a kind of a different action and different pronunciation of some words and different with our habit. Then, but it doesn't matter because it will give another experience for the people to have communicate with other people. So this is one thing that we have to understand, that this is experience and beliefs and values by respecting each other. The second one is intercultural competence is a part of a family of a concept, including global competence, graduate attributes, employability skills, global citizenship, education for sustainable development, and global employability. So we have to trying to learn that there are many kinds of English that are spoken by people all around the world. Okay, so by having this kind of intercultural competence, that the concept is the theories from Biram, Optekin, and Kant, that this is a giving empathy. Yeah, this is a giving empathy and understanding of other people behavior and ways of thinking, respect, tolerance, sensitivity, and flexibility. In this great event, I would like to share the experience in how to practice this kind of intercultural communicative competence by by making use of technology to help us to find this kind of skills. Yeah, this is from Byram, that we can see that this is intercultural competitive competence. It could be from the three parts: that linguistic competence, sociolinguistic competence, discourse competence, and it will end to intercultural competence. We can see that this is the location of learning. It is from classrooms, from fieldwork, and independent learning. So we in education, we can support and facilitate the students to have this kind of competence by design such kind of lessons, how to have this kind of a competence. The students, by having this kind of intercultural communicative competence, the students have knowledge, and then having interpretations and relate, and then trying to discover and interact with other people. And after that, the students have such kind of a critical cultural awareness. Okay, I'm trying to understand whether there are such kind of differences and some similarities. And the last one is the students having such kind of self reflections and giving values each other. Okay, this is the component of intercultural competence. First is attitudes, and then knowledge and understanding, skills, and actions. And this is some considerations for the teachers, how to design lessons for the students, how to communicate with other people all around the world. Okay, so this is as kind of a rubric, and then such kind of activities that um, we can try in the classrooms. Yep, developing intercultural competence, such kind of having informal, independent. So the students have some activities outside of the classroom, but this is facilitated by the teachers. And then the second one is this is the activity. We can use role play and then poetry and creative writing, and then having such kind of collaborations with other students from other colleague. So we can have such kind of uh, uh, collaborations with other students. And then we can use social media and other online tools such as video, and we can use some tools or applications from our mobile phones to communicate with other people. Yep. Okay, so this is my experience in teaching cross-culture understanding in my classroom. So first is the students read about the multicultural manners. This is books that relate about habit in other countries. That's around 32 countries. And after that, the students, after reading, then we have a such kind of discussions each other. Oh, why these people do this and why people do that? Why these people speak like that? Why people speak like that? Like this, yeah. So we can learn more about the some attitudes and behaviors that we can learn and values from other people. Okay, so this is intercultural communicative competence, activities inside of the classroom, introducing intercultural manner, discussion about the intercultural manner, such kind of food, culture, habit, and sometimes this is as kind of taboos in our countries and other countries. And after that, we have continue with discussion, the topics in the classroom. And after that, we have such kind of knowledge building, attitude, skill experience, and we have such kind of output. Hopefully that this kind of activities, we have participations, interactions, and engagement. Then after having such kind of knowledge in the classroom, we have some activities outside of the classroom. First is a knowledge about intercultural manner from YouTube and sometimes from the past experience. The second one is knowledge about some applications or social media that we can use for facilitate learning. The third one is experience in knowing about people in some countries and attitude to learn new cultures, language skills to communicate, and the other output is having participations, interaction, and engagement with new friends. Okay, so this is such kind of a social media that we can use to communicate with other people. We use Omegle, YouTube, Interpulse, Kik, Battle, website, and Tandem or Couchsurfing or Daily Postcard. The other one is Skype, and maybe we can also use Zoom. Yeah, in this pandemic. This pandemic sessions. Yeah, this tutorial is created by my students that have many friends from India. She is one of the movies, Indian movies, and then she is. She has this kind of she loves very much Indian culture. That's why when she is she is studying in my university. She is trying to go to India, and it happens. Yeah, and it happens. It is because she has many friends from India. So this is very interesting to have her story, because she is trying to communicate with friends, and she is trying to go to the countries that she wants to visit. Yep. Okay. Okay, this is a video, but I'm not sure that it can play it. Oh, that's good. Thank you. Yeah, maybe we can, yeah.
Excuse me, madam. Sorry for interruption.
Okay. Yeah.
Ma'am,
Can you hear?
actually, ma'am, this video is not audible to us.
Okay. Yep. Yeah. Okay. Thank you. Yeah.
Okay,
To
ma'am.
let me know about this. Okay. I will continue to my presentations. Sorry. Yeah. I will stop. Okay. I will stop. Thank you very much for letting me know about this. Then I will share my next PowerPoint.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank
Please
you.
continue.
Yeah, after having this kind of knowledge about some applications that help students to communicate with other people, then this is some of the activities that can be done in sorry in this pandemic situations. So the students can share their experience in a communicate with other people. And also I would like to check my PowerPoint. Sorry. Okay. Oh, I see. I can't. Yeah. Okay, let me solve this problem first. Okay. Oh, I'm sorry for this.
It's okay, ma'am. No issues. You can
Okay.
continue without your slides.
Yep.
No
Okay.
problem.
Yep. Okay. Can you see? This is
Yes, ma'am.
the slides. Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
I continue the experience that the students have with the online form. So I use a Moodle for these sessions, and they can share their experience and also get comments from the other students. So my students have the experience in communicate with other people all around the world. Some of them have friends from India, and some other from America, and then some other from Australia, Turkey, and other countries. So in this case, that the students, it is not only just talk English with their friends. And sometimes it is in Indonesia, it is rarely to speak in English. They speak Bahasa Indonesia, or they speak their mother tongue. So they need to communicate in English that speak in English too. Maybe this is a different with India, that India have English as one of the official language, but in Indonesia we are rarely to speak in English. That's why they need to practice more with other language. Okay, so this is a kind of activities that done by my students. They watch short videos and also read some informations from other countries, information or knowledge. And then the third one, write their opinion about one of the three topics you may interest. So one of the topics are about food, about time, verbal expressions, and about clearing cultural confusions. Okay, so this is such kind of comments that written by my students. We learn something new, even though we never go to their country, but we know how they live there, or maybe one day we're going abroad, then we already know how we should act in others' country. I got many find Indian because they are very friendly. The second one is that sounds so interesting. Any celebrations is always interesting, and I can feel the atmosphere from the picture. It must be nice to celebrate the spring in Indonesia. Also, those food make me starving right now. It looks so delicious. So they share with the experience in having communications with other people all around the world. Yeah, so this is such kind of a communications between my students and their friends. Uh, this is talking about foods, about celebrations, about the other topics that we talked previously in the classroom. Then they continue to talk about the topic outside of the classrooms. So this is a this is the example. So it is about body language. I have watched some Indian movies, and I noticed some scene that the actors or actress like shaking their head while talking what what does it means? Yeah, shaking their heads. So the Indian people answering and trying to explain to my students. So this is not only just trying to communicate, but also they learn about culture. They learn about how to respect others. And then they can have such kind of values. And sometimes this is giving such kind of motivations. Maybe someday they would like to go or visit the countries, different countries. And this is some student stories talking about time. Yeah. I have a good experience in communicating with friends from abroad. I have friends from India, Turkey, France, South Korea, Malaysia, Spain, and Lebanon. At first, I felt a little awkward to talk with them, but as time went by, I was comfortable and not confused anymore to look for conversation topics with them. It seems that at first they got confused and anxious, having try to talk with other people, that this is the first time they talk with another people from other countries. But after having such kind of some conversations, they feel that my students have such kind of enjoyment in having this kind of communications. Yeah, sometimes they said that they have such kind of difficulties related to the time difference, but finally they can learn that they understand there is such kind of this kind of difference, but then they can accept it. Yeah. The second one, all my foreign friends are so kind. Actually, I got lots of battle from battle apps, but maybe I got lots of friends from battle apps, but not all of them stay in long-term chat. There are still few though from Turkey and India. They are all either talkative or share the same interests as me. So by having this kind of communications, they trying to understand each other and then trying to communicate. They have a such kind of motivations to talk with other people. Yeah. Okay. So this is a kind of an informal digital learning of English. This is a self-directed informal English learning using a range of different digital devices and resources independent of formal context. Related to English, trying to communicate in a global era, we can use this kind of activities to support our students to communicate with other people, and then trying to make use of the technology as the facilitations for to learn better and to learn quicker. Yep. Okay, so this is the conclusions. Teaching and learning intercultural competence may conduct formal and informal situations in the classroom and outside of the classrooms. Classrooms and outside of the classroom as the sites of negotiation and engagement. The second one, by learning intercultural competence, students have new knowledge, new attitudes, new skills, and new literacies. The third one, acting local and think global with teachers' guidance will lead students to have intercultural competence. Okay, thank you very much for today. And thank you very much for having this kind of great occasions. Thank you. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Arifa ma'am, for your wonderful and knowledgeable talk on informal digital learning of English as well as intercultural competence technology. Thank you so much for putting your views on this wonderful topic. And we are very thankful to you for your precious presence. Once again, thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Now, moving ahead, I would like to invite our resource person, and our resource person is respected Dr. Rakesh Damin sir. He has more than 21 years of experience, and presently he is associate professor at NC Bodhiwala and principal MC Desai Commerce College, Ahmedabad, Gujarat. So let's welcome our respected resource person, Damir sir. Over to you, sir.
अच्छा ये आ गया.
Sir, you joined for the
who stood like you now. Okay. ഇപ്പഴാ വന്നേ.
Dear participants, I think. Hello everyone. Dear participants, I think there is connectivity. Okay, fine. I think problem has been solved now.
Okay. Shall I?
Yes, sir. Please continue.
Okay. I was supposed to take a lecture at 5 o'clock. So I was thinking I had my other Zoom meeting as such. And as far as my timing was concerned at 5 o'clock. But fine, I got a call and I'm just going to start my lecture as such as far as my things are concerned. First of all, I'm thankful to Ghanshyam sir for giving me an opportunity, of course, to share, to communicate with the stakeholders. And as far as my experience for last 28 years in language teaching is concerned, I'm going to share that. And as far as my specialization is concerned, it is a language teaching through technology, through software, through mobile phone, through applications, through links. So, there's a great platform, specifically in COVID-19. And of course, if you take an opportunity of that, it is definitely going to facilitate, it is going to help teachers and students fraternity at large. There is no question about it as such. So, first of all, the topic, to facilitate the language from local to global. When we talk for facilitation, then of course it's a support, zone of proximal development, scaffolding in English language teaching. What is zone of proximal development? Zone of proximal development is a support where you get the support of applications and of course numbers of links and softwares. And when you are using that softwares, definitely you are going to have an improvement, the fluency, the growth, the development in language. As far as the classroom language teaching is concerned, there is a limitation to that. And as far as that limitation is concerned, we know that, we are preparing the language from the examination point of view. We are preparing the language from the syllabus point of view. We are preparing the language from the curriculum point of view. So, no, there is a limitation to that as such. And what happens that, that when we are preparing the language from curriculum and from the syllabus point of view, the main problem what we are having is that, that we are cramming, we are mugging, and we are just parroting the things as such. So it is just confined to artificial language learning. So when we go in a real situation, what happens that, that we are lacking our language. And as far as that lacking of language is concerned, we are not able to get the employment. We are not able to get the job. And when we have to appear for international exams like IELTS, TOEFL, GRE, GMAT, and all sort of stuff as such, we are on the receiving end as such. So, immersion of language, internalization of language, acquisition of language. There are two words. One is an acquisition and second is a language learning. When we talk about the language learning, it is about little bit of an artificial thing as such. It is from the examination, it is from the syllabus point of view. But when we acquire the language, it goes into the subconscious level. Language has been taken into the two ways. One is that, from the conscious level. And when we talk about the conscious level, then, we are just going through our text and we are just going through our examination format as such. And when we are acquiring the language, acquisition of language means that, that in the real situation, we will be able to communicate the language. So, as far as my today's lecture is concerned, from local to global, okay? So, as far as this local and global are concerned, they are adjectives. I'm not going into those adjectives as such. My main thing is that, that acquiring the language, because when it comes to the technology, the language is, it definitely becomes a leveler. Because, you have the models where you have the international teachers and, as far as those applications are concerned, those applications definitely facilitates you. So what happens that, that the local factor goes away. When there are more than 8,000 applications in Play Store Android, and there are more than 10,000 applications on iOS Apple. When we are going through these applications, we get RP, received pronunciation. And when we talk about the received pronunciation, it means that, that you are acquiring the language in an authentic, in an original way through practice. That's an important thing. When we have to learn the language, the first and foremost thing is that, that the environment plays a very important role. When you have the environment, the language takes place. When we attend the lecture, we are having an environment only of 30 minutes, 40 minutes, 50 minutes. Say for if you have the whole day, then you will be having some 2 hours or 3 hours. But you consider that, that you are having a language for 6 hours, 8 hours, 10 hours daily. Okay. So, that language, it will be going into your subconscious level. And when that things goes into your subconscious level, then language is cemented. And when language is cemented, then in a workforce, or when you have to go for the higher studies, when you have to appear for some international exams, this type of enforcement or reinforcement is definitely going to help you out. So today I will be going to give you certain softwares and applications. And as far as this application is concerned, I request to my friend that, they should take some screenshots so that, that when they go to the Play Store or when they go to the Google platform, they can have an access to those applications, and it is definitely going to facilitate them. My emphasis is on listening and reflecting the language, because when it comes to language, what happens? The child, he listens the language for up to 3 years, 4 years. He does not know to write, he does not know to read, but he listens in his environment. And what happened that after listening the language, he is reproducing he is reflecting, he is showcasing, he is displaying the language. In the same way, the psychology we have to use in our day-to-day life. So what we have to do is that, that we have to listen as much as possible. We have to, there are numbers of podcastings, and, there are numbers of English channels, there are numbers of radio channels, there are numbers of other softwares, which I'm definitely going to software today. I'm going to show you today. So those things, if the student imbibe, if the student absorbs, if the student inculcate, then it is, language is definitely good. And, I have my practical observations and numbers of case studies. And as far as this case studies, I've seen that, that language learning has taken place in an authentic manner. Okay. So today I'll be going to have some I will going to have some images, and you should have the screenshot of those images. And of course, this screenshots, the applications, you can have an access from either from the Play Store Android, or you can have an access from iOS Apple Store. So it is going to help it out as such. Can you see the images, all the friends?
Yes, sir.
Hello?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So today's topic is, first of all, communicate to facilitate English from local to global. Just a half minute on that is, our purpose is, as far as the language learning is concerned, you may be having the literature, you may be having the commerce, you may be having the engineer, you may be having the science subjects, or whatever it may be. As far as the language thing is concerned, the prime focus, as Ghanshyam sir has said, that it is, the purpose is communication. And as far as the communication is concerned, communication should not be just confined to appearing for the examination, but communication should be taken in a large scale. And when we talk about the large scale, the final purpose is that, you know, that employment is the final purpose. When we go to our employer, the first and foremost thing is that they will be asking you that, do you know how to communicate in writing and speaking form as such? So, you know, the communication is definitely going to help us. And communication to facilitate, communicate to facilitate. Facilitate is a support. As I told before that, you know, zone of proximal development, scaffolding in English language teaching. Okay. So, you know, the method of language teaching is from grammar translation method to communicative language learning. The focus should be to communicate and facilitate the language. And when it comes from local to global means that, you know, the prime purpose is that, you know, that you become a migrant, you go to a big city, you may be working in your own environment, you should be able to be fluent in the language. That is the purpose of communication is concerned. And specifically, you know, as far as the opportunity of English language in the period of pandemic is concerned, the student and the teachers have got the opportunity to learn the language through the mobile phone, through the tablets, through the laptops, and through the PCs. And as I said before, that, you know, that there are thousands and thousands of applications from British Council, from Oxford Language Learning, and numbers of sources and resources are concerned where the student can have an access to language learning is concerned. Now, coming to our things as such, as I told that, you know, that as far as our language learning is concerned, I will not go to the whole of thing as such, but, you know, when we listen the language, we imbibe 20%. When we watch, we imbibe the language 30%, and 90% of the language what we do. So my purpose is that, you know, that the device is your mobile phone. We call it a smartphone, but they are going to become really smart when you will be able to communicate with the language. And I hope that, you know, in my forthcoming days, Ghanshyam sir will be going to give me an opportunity for showcasing a workshop for the application, where I can show numbers of application where the student can have an access to listen the language, to read the language, and to record the language, and to improve the language. Because in half an hour, you know, I have my own limitations. But the bottom line of this image is 90% of the thing that what you demonstrate, what you speak. It is unfortunate that, you know, that as far as the language learning is concerned, even though the student have passed the graduation and post-graduation, they are not able to communicate the language for the simple reason they are preparing the language for the examination point of view. And what happens that, you know, that they are good at writing, they are good at reading, but when it comes to communication, when it comes to speaking, they are lagging in the fluency. And the reason is that, you know, that we are not communicating with the peers, peer learning. We are not communicating in our environment. And my next slides will be, I'm going to show you some applications where you can record, where you can speak, when you can read, where you can listen, and where you can do numbers of permutation and combination as far as the language learning is concerned. And as far as I told you that, you know, mobile phone is an empowerment. It is a real smartphone, but, you know, we are using only for the Facebook and WhatsApp purposes as such, and we are using for only just to communicate the basic things as such. But when you use the language in a real work, then real world will become an empowerment to you. And those applications will give you the power of language. There is no gainsaying or denying about the fact as such. Now, role of technology from going from local to global. And as I told before that, you know, that as far as the smartphones are concerned, you use the smartphone and you revolutionize your life. You change your life. There is no doubt about it. And as far as this languages are concerned, your numbers of applications, and this application can transform your learning. There is no doubt about it. Now, coming to English websites, the numbers of English websites from about education to BBC Learning to English blogs to VO English Learning. You go to your Play Store and just to press the button of learning English, Espresso English, read to grammar, Breaking News English, and you will be finding numbers of websites, and this website will give you an opportunity for listening and recording the language. As I told you that, the two things I'm going to give the emphasis. First thing is that, that listening and reflecting and reproducing the language, because, through reading, you are not going to have an access to the pronunciation of the language. Through listening, you can have an access to pronunciation of language. So what happened that, the students who are fluent in English speaking, they are fluent in English listening. So listening and speaking, they are interdependent on each other. Now coming to the software, these 4 or 5 softwares I'm using in my classroom, and the best software I found is a Duolingo, and of course Babel. And as far as the software is concerned, you go to the basic level and you will be finding it on the free basis. But as you go to the advanced level, you have to pay a little bit of money. But as far as this self-learning or autonomous learning is concerned, this interactive software is definitely going to facilitate your language, and it is definitely going to give you a good communication over the language. There is no doubt about it. My humble request is that please take the screenshots of whatever the slides I'm showing you, because this screenshot you can have an access to from the Google or from the Apple store, or from the Android Play Store. You can have an access to the application to that. Now, these are the online English programs. Okay, and in of course, in COVID-19, we are quarantined. We are not able to move as such. So, of course, these online English programs, if you have the certificates, these certificates are definitely helpful when you go to obtain the job, to procure the job. And besides that, it gives you all the 4 aspects: RSLW, reading, writing, listening, and speaking. As far as our college examinations or school, university examinations are concerned, we're just confined to reading and writing. But as far as the listening and speaking is concerned, we have the limitation. But as far as this online English program is concerned, it is definitely going to give you a lot of opportunities for developing your listening and speaking skills. This is all about the language program. And as far as this language program is concerned, as we are having an importance to our university, Atal Bihari Vajpayee University's degree, we are having an importance to that. Now, you go to FluentU, your Rosetta Stone or English Town certificates if you are having, and if you want to obtain the jobs, these certificates are definitely going to help you out as such. Now, coming to language exchange programs. Now, what are the language exchange programs? Suppose I have read certain things. I have read certain novels. I have read a lot of languages. But, the important thing is that, that I have to communicate the language. And for communication, the language, I don't have the environment. And as I don't have the environment, I will be good at reading, I will be good at writing, I will be good at listening. But when it comes to communication, I require an environment, I require people, I require the peer learning. Now, language exchange is giving us the opportunity to make the communication worldwide. And as far as this softwares and application is concerned, they are very handy to make the communication learn and to become fluent in English language. And as far as the language learning is concerned, at your time, you can have your own autonomous learning. And this learning will definitely give you a facilitation for having an access to proper language. There is no gainsaying about the thing. Now, coming to the language podcast. We know the word podcast. As far as the podcast is concerned, this is a very vogue word as such. In a single sentence, if I have to define podcasting are the audio and video files as such. And, on numbers of topic, the lectures have been taken. So, at your own time, you can listen to podcasts related to your own topics, related to your own subject. And of course, you can have an access to language. You can improve your vocabulary. You can improve your intonations. You can improve your accents. You can improve your, of course, the fluency of language in totality. So as far as language podcast is concerned, according to your own taste, you have the British Council podcast, you have the BBC Worldwide Service Pro podcast, you have the Luke's English podcast, Expresso English podcast. This podcast talks about grammar, it talks about the literature, it talks about the language in a holistic way as such. So I think so that, that students who want to do their BA, MA in linguistics, if they want to improve the language, if they want to know the methods and principles of language teaching, listening of podcast in language teaching is definitely going to give them the platform. It is going to give them access for language learning. Then watching movies, of course, Netflix and Amazon, you have an access to watch a lot of movies. Nowadays, you have the subtitles, and through the subtitles, you can have an access to the pronunciation, and you can definitely bolster your language part as well. So presently, this platform, watching movies, it gives you an entertainment, it gives you an information, and it gives you the language learning. There is no question about it. Now, applications for English language learning. This is a very important slide. And as far as this image is concerned, I want that my friends should search numbers of applications from the Google Play Store, and they can have an access to language learning in conversation, in grammar, in vocabulary, and of course in spellings and dictionaries and thesaurus and numbers of things they will be finding as such. And of course, application for English language, you will be finding numbers of free applications. And as far as this application is concerned, my friends, professors should work out on this, and they should, of course, share with the students. And definitely, we are going to make our work easier by sharing this application, because our sole purpose is to see that, that our students learn the language. Not only they should get the marks, they should get the marks in the examination, but they should have an access to language learning as well. So in my opinion, as far as this application is concerned, and only 7 or 8 applications have been shown, but you ask me and you will be finding numbers of applications on the given topics. So there is a plethora of applications as far as the language learning is concerned. But exploration and discussion of the application from Play Store and App Store is a very important aspect. Now, of course, improving of vocabulary. The student who want to go to abroad, who want to master the vocabulary, these are the flashcards and SRS. Quizlets and Study Blue, these are the 2 important applications to build up your vocabulary. There is not even a single examination where the vocabulary is not tested. So I want that the student who want to appear for their IES examination, UPSC examination, IELTS examination, International English Language Testing System, TOEFL test of English as a foreign language, GRE graduate recording examination, SAT Scholastic Aptitude examination, okay, SLAT, then you have the CELTA examination, Certificate of English Language Teaching to Adults, DELTA, diploma in English language teaching to adults. There are numbers of examinations where your vocabulary is tested, the jargon is tested. And as far as this 2 application is concerned, you will be finding numbers of ready-made flashcards to prepare for your examination. You can prepare the flashcards for the student's point of view, and you can have the ready-made flashcards for appearing for the examination. For example, you want to appear for IELTS examination, you will be finding numbers of flashcards on IELTS examination. So as far as this image is concerned, it is related to flashcards and SRS systems as such. Then of course, ELT and ESL books, this is a traditional way, and since long we are working on that thing as such. But I will not be going to give a much emphasis to it, because nowadays, we are much on listening, podcasting, recording, listening the news, listening to radios. So as far as unless you are appearing for your MA, BA for language teaching and language learning process, then you should go for the books. But if you want to have a out and out fluency, then listening and speaking and recording, that is an important part. And of course, those applications are definitely going to help you out. Then, of course, nowadays the reading has been revolutionized. And, Kindle is numero, it is #1 applications on reading. And you will be finding number of books related to that as such. And you have the iBooks you will be finding on Apple. Then, of course, you have the Vocable, where you will be finding thousands of novels. Then newsadmic.com is related to the latest news worldwide, what is happening as such. Then as far as the Tea Time English is concerned, this is related to the news item what we have in our day-to-day lives. So as far as the read is concerned, it is related to reading on the mobile phone, on your tablets, on of course on your laptops and PCs as well. Now, this is online press. This is a very important aspect. When I talk about online press, then you have numbers of applications on the news. We read newspaper, but nowadays, you know, the newspaper has been revolutionized. It has been digitalized. And I recommend to my students, recommend to my friends that instead of reading the news on your smartphones, you can have an access to listen the latest news, what is going on. For example, you know, nowadays we are finding that a lot has been talked about the Riya Chakrabarti's case as such. We have numbers of news related to COVID, and we have a lot of news related to India-China relation. I want my student that instead of reading your news, you should listen to the news as such. And listening the news, of course, you know, it has been said that, you know, don't read from the eyes, you read from your ears. And when you read from your ears, the language pronunciation, language fluency, language grammar, vocabulary, you are definitely going to, you're going to make it better. There is no doubt about it. And you have on the nowadays, you know, on your application, you have the auto dictionaries. So, you know, when you find a difficult words, you don't have to go through the dictionaries. Just press the button on that application, what the news you are reading on, and you just press the word, and you'll be finding the auto dictionary. You'll be finding the word as a thing. So, you know, you have the auto dictionaries. You have the listening part on your mobile phone, and of course, you know, this listening is bolstered. It is definitely going to give the power of language learning. There is no question about it. Now, coming to video news, of course, you know, numbers of channels of video news. Two channels which I day in and day out watch is that, you know, one is Republic and second is Times of India. Of course, Arnab Goswami, 1 hour I used to listen daily at night as such. And of course, you know, it is not only about the information, it is not only about the news, but it is about the language also. Because, you know, daily 1 hour of news when you listen, then what happens that, you know, you get the information, but with the information, the language fluency, because, you know, they are the excellent role models. Rajdeep Sardesai, Navika, of course, and, you know, Arnab Goswami, okay? They are the good model of languages. I'm not talking about the political parties. I'm not talking about the ideologies. But as far as the language thing is concerned, if you listen them, you know, then they are a good role model as far as the language is concerned. So I think so that, you know, that listening the news daily 1 hour, 1.5 hours with the power of information it gives you the power of language, it is going to definitely facilitate the language learning. There is no question about it as such. Then, of course, you know, listening to the radio when you are, of course, you know, when you don't have an access to watch, then just pierce your earphones in your ear, and you can listen to the radios endlessly. And of course, you know, tune in. When you just go through the tune in, you will be finding hundreds of news channels where you can have an access to news learning, to news listening as well. Unfortunately, you know, we are not listening the news on radios and on videos, where I think so that, you know, that our student may be lagging in language. If they daily give 1 or 2 hours daily for language learning, listening on radios and TVs, it is definitely going to have the power of language learning. Of course, then, you know, they're preparing for an official examination. Now, as far as in India, the one limitation what we are having is that, you know, that the student do not have an access to speaking part in the examination. And what happened that, you know, that in a TOEFL, IELTS, bullets examination, when the student had to prepare for speaking, they are definitely on the receiving end. I've taught IELTS and TOEFL for 10 years. And one of the things what I found is that, you know, that even though the student may be belonging to English medium, when they have to make the language communication, as we don't have an access to speaking in colleges and universities, what in the real life situation, they are facing a lot of problems. And what happened that because of this problem, you know, they may be getting the good marks in BAs, BA, MA, and they may be PhDs and all sort of stuff as such. But when it comes to an authentic English conversation, they are definitely not able to come to the terms as far as the language speaking is concerned. So, of course, you know, this examination gives the power of language speaking. And this language speaking, definitely, unless you clear your scores in speaking, you won't be getting a certificate for abroad education or for PRs in abroad as such. So this of course, exams also gives an opportunity. Then English lessons on YouTube. You talk and you will be going to get the videos related to YouTube. But it is very important for the teachers and for the stakeholders of language and for the student just to go through the YouTube videos related to your topics, and you'll be finding numbers of videos of YouTube. So of course, you download that YouTube videos and you can have an access to numbers of listening on YouTube related to your topic. And this is a way that, the language learning process is going to help you out as such. And of course, online dictionaries, as far as these dictionaries are concerned, they are free of cost. And this dictionary, as I told you, that, that it gives the power of pronunciation. It gives you the language learning, the rhythm of language, the music of language. And very important thing, as far as the modern dictionaries are concerned, this dictionaries are the auto dictionaries. Whenever you are reading your novels or reading your newspaper, you can just search the word at the drop of the hat. But these online dictionaries, it is definitely going to help the language learning process. There is no question about it. Now, talking about the British Council application, there are the clusters of application. Just to go to one application, you will be finding numbers of applications on the one page as such. And when you go through this application, you will be finding podcasting, you will be finding the word challenge, you will be finding the word shake, you will be finding the phonetics, you will be finding quiz masters, you will be finding grammar, you will be finding language related to sound rights, you will be finding the language related to the conversation. So, the functional language, if you want to have, then this application is going to help. One of the unfortunate thing, what I've seen that, in Gujarat University and India-wide, I visited numbers of cities as we used to talk. I used to talk with Ghanshyam sir also many a times. That, that as we were seeing that, that the student get good marks. The student get good certificates. The student, when you ask them, their academics are very bright. But when it comes to conversational, when it comes to fluency of language, when they have to talk in appropriate English language, they are definitely lagging. And of course, these applications, as the British Council, there are 10 to 12 applications on this page as such. And when you search the application store, you will be finding at least 30 to 35 applications of British Council on different topics as such. But when you search this application, you will definitely be finding numbers of features for your language learning process as such. Then you have the Android applications on grammar. You have numbers of exercises you can do. You can have a number of quiz, and you have numbers of descriptions on parts of speech, on figures of speech, and the student can search out their progress. And there are numbers of grammar tasks. So, this mixed and topics grammar, it is definitely going to help the grammar part improvement. And of course, this is the way they can have it. Then coming to the other part is, Oxford language learning, and Cambridge language learning. And again, as in a British Council, we have seen numbers of applications. In a Cambridge education applications also, you will be finding vocabulary, grammar, dictionaries, general language learning for examinations and for education. And they are for gratis. You don't have to pay any charge on that. Suppose, for example, in Cambridge, you will be finding that, for Android also, for iPad also, and for iPhone also. So, for all the devices, these applications are available. They are free source application. And when presently we don't have the net problem, and presently we don't have the mobile phone are not very costly in the range of 10,000 and 12,000, we can definitely have an access to the application, to the mobile device. So, when you have the internet connections, where you get the applications free of cost, then, I think so that, in COVID-19 or, autonomous learning, these applications are definitely going to help you by leaps and bounds, and the student can fire all the cylinders for language learning. And I think so that, the burden on the teacher can be reduced by the students, by PLE, personal learning environment. When the student create their personal learning environment, this is a way that, that present autonomous learning can take place. Then, of course, you have the numbers of applications on verbs and conversations and idioms and grammar and all sort of stuff as such. then Cambridge learning process, dictionaries, and all sort of stuff. So, these are the applications what I've shown. And of course, when I get an opportunity, this application just I've shown you today, but I'm going to demonstrate in a workshop, in 2 hours, 3 hours workshop for language learning, for language fluency, for language grammar, for language vocabulary, for language recording, for every sort of thing that, that in a classroom teaching, what we can do. Outside the teaching also, or outside the classroom also, we can work on. And our purpose is, the purpose of teachers, the purpose of professors, the purpose of stakeholder is that, that to create the language learning environment so that our student can get the opportunities for the job. They can get the opportunities so that they can make their bread and butter. The student can go to abroad for the language, for their own PR or for their higher education. And our prime purpose as an English teacher is that how the student can have an access to proper learning through technology, through language learning, through application, through mobile phone, through devices, and through all sort of stuff. Thank you very much. And thank you, Ghanshyam sir, once again for giving me an opportunity for sharing whatever my things, what I'm doing in my teachers training program, in my classroom. And of course, day in and day out, I'm working on my application. Today, you have given me an opportunity to showcase the images of those applications. But you gave me one more opportunity to showcase and to demonstrate the application through workshop. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you for giving us idea about software tools and application which can improve our learning, listening, as well as speaking ability. I am sure that this knowledgeable talk will be surely fruitful and helpful to our all dear participants and our students. Thank you, sir, for your precious presence.
It's my honor. No question. It's my honor.
Okay, sir. Thank you. Dear participants, if you have any kind of questions, kindly put it on chat box. We will convey to our speakers. Okay, thank you so much. Now, our next resource person is respected Dr. Mukta Manoj Jacob, Madam, Head English and Business Communication, Narsi Monjee College of Commerce and Economics, Mumbai, Maharashtra. She did her PhD in English Literature from Madurai Kamaraj University. She has published research articles on language, literature, and communication in various peer-reviewed national as well as international journals. She has chaired many national and international conferences as well. So let's welcome respected Mukta Madam. Over to you, ma'am.
Thank you, DLS College, dignitaries on this of the dais, my respected learned academicians around the globe. During this pandemic, I consider it a pleasure to share whatever knowledge I have gained throughout this 28 years of teaching communication, especially business communication, to the students across the globe. Thank you all for giving me this opportunity. And let me share my screen to talk what little knowledge I have gained with you all. Okay. I hope I'm audible and my slides are clear.
Yes, ma'am. You are
Am I
fairly enough
audible?
audible. Yes, ma'am. Fairly enough audible and
Thank
slide
you.
is visible
Thank you so
now.
much. Thank you so very much. Okay. The topic that I have chosen for today is soft skills, a necessity for workplace success. Hearing the earlier speakers, the learned speakers who have thrown light on various communication communication, intercultural communication, and the different apps that is required to make communication local to global. Here I come with soft skills, a necessity for workplace success. When we talk about soft skills, we generally say it is very difficult to acquire. Hard skills make you qualified for a job, but soft skills help you to write a resume and to get an interview, to get the job and to sustain in that job as well. So we as teachers of language and communication, it is our important duty to communicate to the students that gone are the days of Gurukul learning, where we give them only knowledge about the text. Today, we are more practical oriented. As Dr. Rakesh has rightly said, we are playing with the the apps that have been created exclusively for the purpose of communication. So we as teachers of language, it is our duty to inculcate a spirit of communication, mostly the intercultural communication among the students, because we want our students to go global and not remain local. So here goes the content. What am I going to cover in this particular lecture? What are soft skills? What is the importance of soft skills? What are important soft skills that I will be covering? Communication skill, body language, making decision, self-motivation, leadership skill, team working skill, creativity and problem-solving skill, time management skill, and of course, I will be summing it up. So the first and foremost one, how is hard skill different from soft skill? When we talk about hard skills, we are only concentrating on the technical skills required for a particular job. Even if you have that qualification, and if you do not have the soft skill inculcated in you, which I call it people skills, relating more to the psychological aspect, because in a workplace, we deal with human capital and not monetary capital all the time. So we need to understand how people work. We need to give them importance. We need to also understand the situation under which the people are working. Hence, the emotional quotient is very, very important, and this could be provided only if we have a fair knowledge of what is soft skill. And hence, the technical skills will get you an interview, but you need soft skills to get the job, keep the job, and also to sustain in the job. So what is the importance of soft skill? Definitely, the learned academicians will agree with me that if you have soft skills, if you develop these soft skills in you, you will definitely have a greater interpersonal relationship. You will take decisions which are appropriate to a particular situation, because your interpersonal relationship will take you always through the right decision. You will communicate effectively. You will know what you have to communicate and how you have to communicate. As communication experts have said, what you communicate is not important, but how you communicate is very, very important. And how do you get that? How you communicate? Through developing your soft skills. And of course, when you acquire all these three soft skills, you will obviously be a professional in your workforce, and you will be a successful professional. Coming to the most important soft skills, the first and the foremost one is no doubt communication skill. Communication skill in English. We know we are all experts in our mother tongue, but if we have to go global, if we are not going to be satisfied with whatever we have acquired at the local instance, we need to gain more and more of communication skill. And how are we going to gain that? By enhancing the 4 important skills that are necessary: the listening skill, the speaking skill, the reading skill, and the writing skill. The next important one is the body language. Body language has gained a lot of importance, not only inside the classroom, but also in the workplace. Your body language shows what sort of a person you are. You smile and you give a lecture to the students are really going to enjoy that lecture. In the workplace, if you are adapting yourself to a particular body language that is akin to the situation, that is akin to the situation, you will be respected, and you have already developed the soft skill of body language. As I told you, this definitely helps in your decision-making process. A good leader is always known by his decision making. And how does he get this decision making? He cannot get it overnight. He has to acquire the necessary soft skills of decision making in order to be a great leader. When we talk about self-motivation, this is another important aspect of soft skill, which I will be dealing in the further slides. Leadership skill, team building skill, problem solving skill, and the time management skill. Of course, there are other soft skills as well, but these are the more important ones because we have to take care of all these soft skills in our day-to-day, probably interaction with our students, interaction with our peers, interaction with the top-level management, and so on and so forth. So I have picked up very important soft skills, which we feel is very important that our students also should acquire. So let us go on to see what each one is and why such a soft skill is important. First one is communication skill. The most important and the most essential skill that is required for success in workplace is communication skill. If your communication is right, you adapt to any situation. You have total control over the situation if your communication skill is excellent. Of course, it builds relationship. You will not allow relationship to break down if you have good and effective communication skill. In order to develop this communication is to listen to the others. We do listen to others, but do we listen effectively? Do we listen critically? Do we listen evaluatively? Or do we listen for comprehension or appreciation? When we talk about listening skills, it is a separate topic by itself where we can talk, we can go ahead and discuss hours together on the different types of listening skill. But if it is a combination of all these 4 skills, or of all these 4 listening skills, namely the comprehensive skills, listening skill, the evaluative listening skill, the appreciative listening skill, and the critical listening skill. Here you develop your communication skill very effectively, and you will never ever get into any problem. The next important aspect is conflict management. I'm not talking about conflict resolution in workplace. I'm talking about conflict management in workplace. There's a difference between conflict management and conflict resolution. When I say conflict management and how do you acquire this, we must always remember that we do not have control over others' reaction. If when a boss shouts at us, when the principal shouts at us, we are not going there to resolve, but we are going to manage. How am I going to manage? Through my communication skill. So at that point of time, whenever the principal or the other party shouts at us, our duty is to just listen. Listen, come back, go again to the same person, and through your communication skill, through your persuasive skill, you manage the conflict and not resolve the conflict. No conflict can be resolved. Even if there is a misunderstanding personally or professionally, the misunderstanding is bound to happen because five fingers are not the same. Everybody has a different opinion. It is most unlikely that we have to adhere and listen to all the opinions the other gives, but you can convince the other person to manage the conflict that would arise in their mind and accept to your decision whatever you have to take. So that is where conflict management is different from conflict resolution. Then coming to the body language, which is again a very important soft skill. We have the cluster of kinesics, the body language there. Eye contact, very, very important. Whenever you talk to a person in a workplace, it is always important that you look into the eye of that person and talk. Face, the entire facial gesture is very important. Facial movement, you know, you are happy, you show it on your face. You are angry, you show it on your face. You are emotional, you show it on your face. We all know that face is the index of the mind. So when we can utilize our facial expression to the maximum extent possible, why not use it to communicate and develop your communication skill? Then comes the posture. Posture in workplace is equally important as a soft skill. The posture, the position of how you sit, how you stand in a formal circumstance, informal circumstance, all this comes under the heading of kinesics, and it is a very, very important soft skill. Your gestures, your proxemics, and your chronomics. Proxemics refers to the space. The space, intercultural space, talks a lot about how intimate we are to the other person and how not so intimate with the other person. And the chronomics refer to the time. Whenever, when I was reading a lot of books on kinesics, I came to understand that compared to the West, Indians give a lot of importance to time. I'm not talking about the time management skill. I'm talking about the time as a factor per se. For anything and everything new we have to start, we generally say this is an auspicious time. I want to start because this is an auspicious time. Now, why is chronomics so important to us? It is because we attach moral values to the time that we choose. Incidentally, I also came across a sort of a cartoon in one of the readings that I had undertaken, that, the cartoon goes so, the boss is in a very, very bad mood, and because he had lost crores and crores of rupees and he has not got the order, and one of his employees goes to him and asks him, when are you going to hike my salary? Now, the next moment, the employee gets a firing letter. Why? Because the time concept was not taken seriously by the employee. That was not the time to have asked for a hike in the salary, but then he did not, unmindful of the time factor, he just went and asked. So this shows how chronomics and proxemics and all the other body language is very, very important as a soft skill. And it is very important, especially in the workplace, if we have to succeed. Then comes the aspect of decision making. Decision making is a very important soft skill, and any decision that is taken with a team spirit, after discussing with your team members and after arriving at a consensus decision, will always show that you are a great leader. And this is a soft skill that all leaders have to develop. We, at some point or the other, we need to have a discussion with our employees. Just because we are on the top pedestal or the top level management, we cannot take decisions on our hand, even if it is a policy decision, because we should always give importance to our employees, as they are also learned people, and considering them as the same paymaster, working under the same paymaster as ours, with a consensus, offers a great success in the organization. Then comes the soft skill of motivation. Now, motivation is again a very important soft skill. There are two types of motivation. One is called the external motivation, and the other is called internal motivation. You know, there is always a saying that teachers are always internally motivated. We don't get our salary on time. If at all we get, you know, maybe 15 days of salary during this pandemic season. And when there is an election duty, teachers are the ones who are called first. Why all this happens? It is because everyone, even a layman, considers a teacher a self-motivated individual. Why? Because we have a sense of belonging to whatever work we are doing, whether it is teaching, whether it is election duty, or whatever, you name it, and we become passionate about it. Right? I think I am 100% sure that all my learned academicians will agree with me. Whereas in a corporate setup, the situation is not such. There has to be an external motivating factor, mostly in the name of incentive, that is given for them to be motivated. So here, when we talk about motivation, we should not think about the external factor that is going to motivate us. We should think about the internal factor. When I'm taking up a job, I should have passion for that job. Some responsibility is given to me, so I am going to give my best to that particular job. When I think in that particular angle, automatically my soft skill of motivation gets developed, and I become an asset to the organization. I am really proud that all the teachers are self-motivated, but at the same time, there might be a few moments when we also get demotivated. Reason being, we may not be applauded. We may not get a pat on the back when we have done a good job. Maybe these are very, very trivial matters to be not motivated. But in an organization, if an employee is self-motivated and he feels that this is my organization, these are my students, it is my responsibility, automatically the soft skill of motivation gets developed and he becomes a successful one. Then the most important soft skill is leadership. How does one get into the aspect or the position of leadership? The most important one is a positive attitude. I praise all the teacher community, teacher fraternity, because we always have a positive attitude, because we are dealing with live students. And we consider each one of the students' career is in our hand. Hence, we are all leaders per se. We don't need to have a pedestal there as a principal or a management person or whoever. By nature, we are all leaders because we understand that we have a positive attitude. We are the ones who are tuning the career of the children, and they are the future citizens the future citizens. Hence, the positive attitude is very, very important for a person to be successful in the organization. As I said, communication skill is equally important. If you are self-motivated, obviously you motivate others. And if you have all these 4 essential inputs in you, definitely in an organization, you develop the attitude of leadership, and this will take you to greater heights. Then comes the teamwork. Now, what do you understand by teamwork? Teamwork generally means that you are a listener on the first hand. You are a listener. You are not just giving instructions to the others, but you are a leader receiving information and inputs from the others. Automatically, when you receive information and when you are a very bright listener, you have already developed interpersonal relationship, and this leads to a grand success in your workplace. And all this is because by intuition, we have to develop that fact that we are dealing with human capital and not with financial capital. So if we have this one soft skill engraved in us, obviously our corporate, we are going to be successful in wherever we work. Then comes the creativity and the problem solving soft skill. This is a very, very interesting one. Creativity is a natural extension of our enthusiasm. Whenever there is a problem occurring in an organization, obviously we have to have creativity, and it spontaneously creativity settles in and we solve the problem with no second. That is the importance of creativity as a soft skill, and hence imagination. So how do you create imagination? You run your imagination riot, and imagination is more important when there are problems, and this is more important than knowledge itself. Hence, how do you create this creative environment? The question isn't whether you want more creative employees, you have already got them. The real question is whether you're going to recognize their creativity and figure out how to use it better. This is how you develop your creativity skill. Understand. So in order to understand what potential my employee has, I first have to interact with them. When I interact with them, obviously I develop the soft skill of interpersonal relationship. I understand their creativity, and I also find out solution for all the problems that might come. So how do I look out for that? Seek an idea sponsor. Seek an alliance with a co-worker or a mentor. They help refine ideas and they help you get past gatekeepers. So you do not have to put ideas in the mind and tell them to work from there. Instead, if your soft skill of creativity and problem solving is innate in you, you will find out that your own employees are giving you ideas, and they are going to give you ideas to solve the problem as well. So either you could find out that or be an idea sponsor. You assume the best, listen to them, allow freedom to fail. If they fail in their attempt, not an issue, but you please take it in a positive manner. Encourage creativity and be consistent in whatever you want your employees to do. So you have to return the favor and act as a catalyst for creativity. You don't need to give anything there. You just have to be a catalyst, be a bond between the creative idea and the employee, and you will get beautiful creative ideas for solving problems if at all it arises in the organization. And that is a very, very important soft skill. Now coming to the most important and what our students and we sometimes lack. I will not say teachers lack in time management. We are the best time managers, but students, yes, definitely. Let us talk about the myths about time management first. Time management is nothing but common sense. Students generally feel I do well in school, so I must be managing my time effectively. What is the reason for managing time well in school? Maybe because of the push from the parents. It takes all the fun out of life. Time management, I work better under pressure. Now, time management and working under pressure goes hand in hand. When a deadline is given for paper submission, we do our best. When there is no deadline, we seldom do our best. Sometimes, not all the time, but it is always better to have a deadline when you work in an organization so that your time management soft skill develops by itself. No matter what I do, this is what we crib about. No matter what I do, I won't have enough time. We already have a mindset. Whatever I do, I will not get enough time. So these are some of the myths that is existing around the soft skill of time management. Just go through that cartoon. It's a very best cartoon I could find. I would like to schedule a time management seminar on my calendar as soon as I can find time to buy a calendar. Yeah, the entire time is in front of us. We are the ones who schedule our time, but then look at that. With this attitude, if we go for a job, if we take up job, definitely we are not going to succeed, and our time management soft skill is not going to develop at all. So what is the truth about time management? Truth about time management: increases productivity, reduces stress, improves self-esteem, helps achieve balance in life, increases self-confidence, and of course, helps you reach your goals. So time management is a very, very important soft skill. How do we manage our time? Set goals, set reasonable expectation, and remember that no one is perfect. Make a schedule, revisit, and revise your plan. See the next one. This is just to keep you happy. It's a new time management app. With due respects to our learned sir who spoke on the apps, it's a new time management app. When you click the icon, your calendar disappears. Yeah, just a sort of a passing remark that I have included this. We are not supposed to find out derogatory things about time management. Better prioritize, find out a schedule, and make time for all what you have to do on a day's plan. So how do you organize your time? Set realistic goals. There are only 24 hours in a day. Use spare time to review, study at the same time and day, and make it a habit. Divide study time into manageable chunks. This is what I tell my students. Always prioritize, don't procrastinate. Whenever you say that, ma'am, I did not do my work because I did not get time, you are not to blame the time. The entire time of 24 hours is in your hand. You have to prioritize, you have to schedule, you have to divide your time into small manageable chunks so that at the end of the day, when you review, you have all your goals intact. Leave extra time at the end. Mostly children don't come out with extra time at all. So, having talked about all the soft skills that is necessary for success in workplace, this is what my conclusion is. 85% of one's success at the workplace is attributed to soft skills. This is a proven study by Harvard. And only 15% relates to technical skills. So you know how important is soft skills and how on a daily basis, we need to inculcate the importance of soft skills in our students so that they become employable, they sustain employability, and they also go to different levels, march on the pedestal with the acquired soft skills during their workforce. Thank you all. That comes to the end of my topic. And I'm really thankful for all the honors that, I'm really honored for being invited to share a platform in the international conference. I owe a special thanks to my dear friend, Mr. Shyam, and DLS College for giving me this opportunity. Thank you all. Thank you very much. I'm open to questions.
Dear participants.
That's all from my side. Ma'am, you can.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you so much. Dear participants, if you have any kind of queries, kindly mention it on chat box. Okay, then if there is no question. So thank you so much, ma'am, for your wonderful and inspirational talk on soft skills and time management concept. It was very great idea of time management you have told to us. Thank you so much, ma'am, for your precious presence. Now, I would like to invite co-convener of this event, Ms. Harshita Sharma, madam, for vote of thanks. Over to you, ma'am.
A very pleasant and a warm evening to the honorable dignitaries, most valued guests, the eminent speakers, and dear participants. On behalf of the organizing committee, I, Harshita Sharma, the co-convener of this international webinar, I take this as my privilege to propose the vote of thanks for this international e-conference on the topic Communicate to Facilitate English from Local to Global, organized by the Department of English and IQAC at Dashrath Lal Sharma Postgraduate College, Bilaspur, Chhattisgarh, India. A very wise man has said that feeling a gratitude and not expressing it is just like wrapping a gift and not presenting it. So, I would like to express my gratitude to our chief guest and a true source of inspiration, Professor G.D. Sharma, sir, the Honorable Vice Chancellor, Atal Bihari Vajpayee University, Bilaspur, Chhattisgarh, India. Thank you very much, sir, for really enlightening us with your knowledge, your unflinching guidance, your presence, and always motivating us to organize such kind of wonderful events. And we are very much thankful to you for your valuable support for all the events we organize in our college. Thank you so much, sir. Further, I would like to thank our special guest, Dr. G.A. Ghanshyam, sir, the OSD Directorate of Higher Education, Raipur, Chhattisgarh, India. Today's event was not possible without your guidance, your support, and your motivation, sir. So thank you very much, sir. Therefore, a special thanks goes to our special guest. Further, I take this as an opportunity to specially express my deep regards and a bunch of thanks to Shri Basant Sharma sir, the chairperson DLS PG College, Bilaspur, for always encouraging us, for being our backbone, for being the guidelight, and for always being there for us. And in our esteemed institution, we are very much thankful to you, sir. Now, I would especially thank the patron and our beloved director, ma'am, Mrs. Nisha Sharma, ma'am, for her unfaltering support and confidence in us in every events and academic fields. Thank you very much, ma'am. My gratitude to the patron and the principal of our college, Dr. Ranjana Chaturvedi, ma'am, for her leading supervision, motherly love, and for inspiring us at every point of time. Thank you so much, ma'am. Further, the bunch of thanks and applause goes to our keynote speaker, Dr. Noor Arifa, who is a lecturer, teacher training and education faculty from Sibelius Morat University, Indonesia. Thank you very much, ma'am, for gracing the occasion and sharing your thoughts and your opinion with us today, and for your inspirational words on the topic and your practical approach on the skills, attitude, culture, and communication. We are very grateful to you, ma'am. Thank you so much. And I'm sure that our listeners have been enthralled by your words and your thoughts. We have a small token of appreciation here for you, ma'am. Kindly accept it with our sincere thanks. Our big thanks goes to the resource person, Dr. Mukta Manoj Jacob, Head of the English and Business Communication from Narsee Monjee College of Commerce and Economics, Mumbai, India. Thank you so much, ma'am, for giving us your precious time from your busy schedule. We are very grateful to you and we hope to listen to you in the future again. Going ahead by expressing an appreciation, I would like to thank to our resource person, Dr. Rakesh Tamir, sir, the Associate Professor NC Bodiwala, and Principal of MC Desai Commerce College, Ahmedabad, Gujarat, India. We are grateful for your time and your efforts you took to share your thoughts on the words and the things that you shared with us today, sir. We are very thankful to you. We hope we get a chance to listen from you in the future again. Now, I would like to propose a special thanks to Mrs. Vandana Tiwari, ma'am, the convener of this e-conference on this particular topic. Thanks a lot, ma'am. I would also like to express my token of thanks to our commendable hostess for her appreciable anchoring throughout the session, Dr. Samiksha Sharma, ma'am. Thank you so much, ma'am. Subsequently, further, I would like to extend an immense thanks to Mr. Umesh Jadhav, sir, Mr. Rakesh Dikshit, sir, Mr. M.S. Parihar, sir, Mr. Pratap Pandey, sir, Mr. Satish Goel, sir, Mrs. Sunita Divedi, ma'am, Dr. Neha Behar, ma'am, Mr. Rakesh Sharma, sir, Mr. Sanjay Upadhyay, sir, and Mr. Dharmendra Shastri, sir. Thank you so much for always being the pillar of any programs that we organize in our college. And thanks to Ms. Sanskriti Shastri for the Saraswati Vandana and Rajya Geet. And now I would also like to thank our technical staff for their unflinching support and coordination. Mr. Shashank Tiwari, sir, Mr. Sumit Dubey, sir, Mr. Nitish Sharma, sir, Mr. Rishi Tiwari, sir, Mr. Mahesh Jangre, sir, and Shubham Pandey, sir. Thank you so much. Last but not the least, I would also like to give a token of thanks to all our participants for their active participation and interest for this international e-conference. Thank you so much. I would also like to thank our platforms like Zoom and YouTube, as well as press and print media for their support. Thank you very much. Now I announce the end of this technical session. Once again, thank you very much and have a wonderful day ahead. Over to you, Vandana ma'am.
Thanks to all of you for your precious time. Now the meeting is over. Kindly pay attention for national anthem.
जनगण मन अधिनायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता पंजाब सिंध गुजरात मराठा द्राविड उत्कल बंग विंध्य हिमाचल यमुना गंगा उच्छल जलधि तरंग तव शुभ नामे जागे तव शुभ आशीष मांगे गाहे तव जय गाथा